Hi guys, Kim Jong Lee here, back with another online commentary battle. This time it's a 1 versus 131k rules battle between Kodyray of the Roma Victor clan and Sparky of the Immortals of War clan. And both players fairly experienced in 31k at this point, I'd say. Quite a few games played by both players with the rule set. Sparky here has got Macedon, so he's at a bit of a disadvantage faction wise. And Kodyray here has got Rome, which should have the advantage in this matchup. Yeah, so we have Rome here with 12 Urbans, 2 Archer Auxilia and 6 Praetorian Cav. Macedon here with 2 Cretan Archers, 4 Companion Cav, and the rest Royal Pikes, so 14 Royal Pikes there. So we can see different approaches from both players. We see Sparky here going for a bit more infantry, but deciding to cut out 2 Cav units instead for these 2 Cretan Archers, while Cody deciding to cut 2 infantry units instead for these 2 Archer Auxilia. They should trade pretty evenly with the Archers, so they should not be a factor really if this battle goes to a straight up kind of fight. So it's probably going to come down to the infantry against the infantry and the Cav against the Cav, or something like that. I think definitely favors Kodyray. He can choose to be very aggressive with these Praetorian Cav, really just work the angles, work the back lines, and Sparky can't really do anything about that if unless he has Royal Pikes supporting his Cav everywhere they go. So that's why he's got these 2 Royal Pikes here, I'd assume, and he's also trying to protect his archers with them. I doubt Kodyray is going to really try and kill these archers though. It's kind of pointless. He has his own archers here which can just shoot with the Cretans, and I'd be pretty happy with that. You'll use up most of the Cretans' arrows, and you'll kill most of the Cretans as well. So even if the Cretans do have arrows left, their numbers will be so depleted that they're not going to make much of a difference. And then it's a matter of really just utilizing the peeler, utilizing the Cav advantage, and closing out the game. It is a bit harder to use the Cav advantage against Pike factions though. This is definitely the case with Macedon, just because Macedon has the long pikes as well, so that makes it harder in some ways, because the Cav have to really punch through quite a few pikes to get into the unit. So that could make things difficult for Kodyray. And I'd highly recommend for Kodyray to keep his Cav actually together and actually try and snipe off some of these Companion Cav with his Praetorians, because if he can kill most of the Companion Cav, then his Praetorians will just have free reign and he'll be able to do a lot of work with them against these Royal Pikes here, which do have low morale as well. I think he's shooting for this infantry engagement a little bit early, just because the Cretans are still around and they haven't really been shot at, so these Archer Auxilia still have a lot of work they can do. That being said, engaging the Royal Pikes a bit earlier on means if the battle goes a bit shorter, there's less value likely to come out of these Cretans, so this is also fine. Of course he has to make sure that he uses his peel effectively, and also he's using his Cav as aggressively as possible, and that seems to be what Kodyray is doing. He's pushing around the sides with some of his Cav here. He just has to watch out for these Royal Pikes, really make sure these Royal Pikes don't get into the Cav fight if he starts one. And he really should have these 2 Praetorian Cav. He really should have all his Praetorian Cav together. It does make his moves a bit more obvious, but it's worth the power, I'd say. Maybe even 5 on one flank and 1 on the other might be okay, as long as he doesn't get that one caught out. But you can then use that 1 Cav unit to try and maybe pick off some archers or go for some back charges on the Royal Pikes, while your other 5 Cav just really pressure down these companions. You see Sparky here choosing to just go in and engage on these 4 units here, and Kodyray is going to bring a lot of his urbans around the side. We can see now though Sparky's going to start bringing his companions around to this side, and this is Kodyray should be keeping an eye on this. He should be moving his Cav over here to really deter Sparky. He should be following Sparky's Cav with his own, really making sure that Sparky's companions can't get any work done, and trying to do work with his own Cav. So because you have the cav advantage, your opponent has a bit more infantry to work with. So you have to translate some of these extra cav units into infantry advantage, which shouldn't be too difficult, to be honest, because they're Praetorians, they're gold, they're very strong, and these are only Royal Pikes, but Sparky's going to run 2 Royal Pikes out the side here, and this is going to let him get in a companion cav charge relatively safety under these Pikes, because now, as these Praetorians try to charge in and countercharge, they just get raked along these Pikes and die. As you can see though, this one unit here, because the morale of the Royal Pikes is so low, this unit's just rounded here, and that's not good, but a lot of cav kills coming through there for Sparky, so nice move there with the Royal Pikes. This Pike unit should come back, not before too long. Yeah, but Kodyray not really making anything happen with these guys here. I'm fairly sure all the peeler has been thrown out at this point, so now he's just going to start losing units here almost for free. And again comes back to the cav on this side that Cody wasn't really checking on. He was really extended on this side. All of his units here were just engaged on the front of the Pikes, so he really should have been watching this flank. He was trying to be aggressive on this flank, but now this is quite passive. He's not really pushing with these infantry here. This is also a huge mistake, because he's charging through the front of the Pikes, which is always bad. There's no reason to do this. This unit is way too far out. Should bring it back. These Archer Auxilia also aren't doing much. But Cody keeps going for these frontal charges, which isn't going to work. The problem for Cody right now with these 3 Royal Pike units, he should be working to get rid of these guys. If that means bringing infantry over to tie them up and then using cav to kill them, then that's what he has to do. He's starting to do that now, but it might have come in a bit too late, and he's again charging in onto the front of Pikes for no apparent reason. There was not too much reason to just have to go for this frontal charge. So this was a huge mistake. It's good that he's brought this unit over though, but he really should have done that a lot earlier, seeing all the infantry coming around from this side. But Cody's just admitted defeat here. I think he could have played it out a little bit longer. He still had some cav to work with. I mean, the kills were fairly... The kills definitely favour Sparky here, but I think it could have been played out, to be honest, this battle. Anyway, good win there for Sparky. I think Cody just really didn't respect the right flank here of Sparky, and he just left it up to fate. You saw Sparky with stacks of infantry, and he had moved 3 units of cav to that side, so you have to anticipate something happening on that side, and Cody just didn't seem to account for it at all. He just moved his infantry up onto this right side, and they just kind of stood there. And even when Sparky started bringing his things over, he wasn't really reacting with the infantry. His infantry was just standing there. He reacted with his cavalry, so he charged in, but it was on the front of Pikes, unfortunately. And when the Pikes come around, you really want something to stall them, and that's usually Urbans. I think, yeah, Kodyray maybe just messed up there a bit. But good game to both players. I'll see you again.